If you've ever wanted to read a book about two serial killers falling in love, then you've come to the right place, because that's apparently what Taurus Season by Brianne Weaver is all about. I know. That's just a wild phrase. I've never read anything like this on this channel. The closest thing to kind of like a dark romance I read was Haunted Adeline, which was about a stalker falling in love with the person he's stalking and her falling in love. Kind of like You vibes, but no, this is about two serial killers. And oddly enough, this is supposed to be kind of like a comedy at the same time. So I'm curious about how all that's gonna kind of like go together. But yeah, it's spooky season. What better time than to read like a dark romance, you know? And if you are fully in the spooky season vibes now, like I am, go ahead and subscribe, because I am continuing to read spooky season related books for the season. So from my understanding, this book follows along our two characters. The first one, she basically lives in this pretty famous town, I think, where, you know, during tourist season, haha, get it? People come into the town, but if they kind of cause a ruckus or stuff, she kind of and uses them for her garden, kind of like compost. And then our other character is a man who unfortunately, like, something had happened to his family. I think it was like a hit and run or some kind of car accident that he thinks the lady here is kind of involved in. So he, during tourist season, goes to the town to basically like stalk his prey so he can like her. But, you know, doesn't kind of go the way that they think, because there's basically this kind of like true crime investigator person who comes to this town, which has a very high body count, to kind of figure out like what is going on here. And so our two serial killers end up teaming up to kind of throw this person off their trail, which is like such a funny kind of idea, because usually, right, if you're reading regular just like fiction, crime fiction, that kind of stuff, the true crime podcaster would be the hero. But in this book, it's twisted around and they're the villain and these two people are the heroes in the roundabout way. And I think that's so fun. That's something I've really enjoyed about kind of like dark romances or fiction kind of like this, because it tests the boundaries and kind of makes you question everything about yourself and your morals. And it's just different. It's just a different flavor of stuff, and different is great. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this book. So without further ado, let's crack it right open. Oh, but wait! We know the drill. This has a dust cover, and apparently it's signed. So I have to take that off before I can read the book. And I'm gonna hope that there's a pretty design underneath, as I always do. Maybe like a weapon or something that's like embossed here. That would be cool. Book is purple, so I'm gonna imagine that it's purple underneath. Maybe a black spine, but I think it's mostly just, I think it's all gonna be purple. Just design underneath is what we care about the most. So let's find out. Oh no, I see blue. Is this blue? Ooh, it does have a design underneath though. Let's see. So I didn't expect it to be blue, but look at the design. That's fun. It's interesting because if you've seen that picture, right, where it's like the two people standing here and the little girl has like a flower behind her that she's holding, I think this is kind of like a nod to that picture. So cool. I don't know why it's blue though. Like, it really doesn't look like it's going to be a blue book, but I digress. Let's read this book for real. I am exactly 100 pages into Taurus season, and here are my thoughts so far. This book has managed to take a really disturbing topic of serial killers and somehow make it funny. Like, again, this is the thing with dark romances. They make you question your own morals and just the way that you think in general. And I unapologetically really like it. And obviously I don't condone serial killers. I think that's awful. I don't think anybody should be murdered. I don't think anybody should be murdering anybody. Just putting that out there. So this book, exactly what I'm really what I've expected it to be. So far we've been introduced to our two main characters, Nolan and Harper, and they're both serial killers, and It's really interesting, this game of like cat and mouse that they're playing, where it's like he's hunting her and she's like, I don't want him to, you know, kill me, but like I have to, like, you know, outmaneuver him. And so they're basically playing this game where it's like he'll do something and then she'll like break into his hotel and like sabotage something, and then he'll sabotage something or kill somebody and like throw the body parts at her. I know. And it's just really interesting. So it's very well written. I can understand the hype behind this author. Like, the writing's really good. It's a very like weird kind of scenario, and it's done in like a fun, entertaining way, despite it being really disturbing. And that's something I love. Like, the tone of this book is really what changes everything about it. Because like when I was reading Alchemized, which if you haven't read, you should, it was dark. It was macabre. Like, it was all of that. Like, that was the vibe. That was the tone of it. And it's similar, right? Like, of people dying and stuff. But like in this one, she could have gone for a more kind of dark, disturbing vibe. But no, has a bit more comedic effect to it. And like characters who are just like, la da 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 da. Like, that's kind of the vibe of it. And obviously it's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. So I'm going to continue to read this book, and I'll update you around the halfway mark, so I will see you then. So I'm definitely more than halfway through Taurus season, and this book so far still super good, but I will say that like the slow burn was not nearly slow enough for me, as like someone who, I literally want books and books and books. Like, this is supposed to be a trilogy, so I want like books and books and books of a slow burn before anything even happens. That's what I think of when I like, that's for me, that's what I like for a slow burn. So for me, it just happened too fast, but everything else about the book I think is just so well done. The writing style is just like, it's fun, and it's like morbid, and it really just hooks you and makes you want to know what's going to happen with the story next. And like, it has its serious moments, of course. Like, I mean, obviously this is about 2 serial killers, but like there's serious moments about this mentor and his challenges with Alzheimer's, and how that is affecting his grandson and our main character Harper, who's pretty much like a daughter to him. And like, you see the way that affects her, and she just wants to protect him, and like, it's really sad, and it's like an experience that so many people go through in real life when they have a loved one with Alzheimer's. And I think that this book, although it's kind of silly at times, it's never ever silly about this. It's very serious about it. It portrays it in a very realistic way, and I really respect that. And then of course, just like the whole 2 serial killers falling for each other is such a bizarre premise that I'm still kind of, you know, eating this up. And I love, like, even though the slow burn, like, for me, like I mentioned, was a bit too slow, the spicy scenes, those are very good. Those are very good. Especially when it's like these characters hate each other. So you get that passion, that hatred in those scenes of those characters. And you're just like, wow, they hate each other. But like, do they hate each other? I do find that like the guy, Nolan, I think that he is more interested in her than he should be. Like, he trusts her more than he should be, and I feel like that's happening a bit too fast in the book. Because like, he spent years and years and years hating this person, and now it's been like, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and he's like, she's really hot. Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, like, maybe you hate somebody and then you actually meet them in person and you're like, oh, you know, I don't actually hate this person. Maybe that's what it is, but I think I would have liked to see a bit more hatred before like the rest of their relationship kind of progresses, you know? But I like both of the characters as much as you can like serial killers, but like their reasons make so much sense that it really has me like questioning. I'm like, you know what? Like, they're good serial killers, they're good people, but like they're also just like killing people, which obviously we do not condone. That is bad. Don't do that, please. And so yeah, that's pretty much how the book is going. Because it's the first in a trilogy, I don't know where the book is going to go, like where the series is going to go. I imagine this is going to end on some like epic cliffhanger where I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, like maybe one of them gets caught or something. no idea. There's like that detective guy who's like lurking around trying to figure out like who the serial killer is. So we will see. I'm going to continue to read this book and I'll update you when I finish it. So I will see you then with my final thoughts and what I will rate this book. So I finished reading Taurus Season, and I'm definitely interested in reading the next book whenever it does come out, because this was such like, how do you even really describe a book that is about two serial killers falling in love without sounding like you're losing your mind? And I don't think there is a way, so maybe I've lost my mind, because I did enjoy this book. I thought that it was something else. With these two characters, they really just feel like real people, and like the author's done such a great job. She's done such a wonderful job with this book and with these characters and the subtle foreshadowing and like how stuff is kind of coming together. And are there parts that are predictable? Of course. Are there parts that are laugh out loud funny? Also, of course. And are you rooting for these two serial killers to find happiness and not get caught? Also, of course. I am so interested to learn more about Harper's backstory and how she came to be the way she is, and like why Cape Carnage and like all of this stuff. And then like Nolan, we know his story, but like he's so head over heels in love with the woman that he's supposed to kill and hate. And I think that's just such a fun idea. And you see them like falling for each other and they don't want to and they hate each other, but it's like the moment they met, there's that spark of just, oh my goodness. And it's like Joe Goldberg and Love Quinn. Like, it's that kind of relationship. Hopefully it doesn't end up like that, though. And it's, like, weird at the same time because, like, I'm not rooting for the good guys. I'm not rooting for them to catch the serial killers. I am rooting for the serial killers, which is one of these things that I really do enjoy about this kind of, like, dark romance kind of books. And I know there's a trilogy, Butcher and Blackbird, by the same author, so I think I have to read that, too, because this has just been such an interesting, different kind of journey that I love. I love how creative people can be as well. And like, there's no bounds to creativity. And the spicy scenes are really good. Like, I know I mentioned that already, but they're peak. Like that scene on like the Swins, like, wow, okay. And like that scene a little bit towards the end, okay. And speaking of the ending, that plot twist, that was good. That got me good. And I was like, oh, what? And so, obviously, I want to read the second book. I knew it was going to end on a cliffhanger because, like, you want to hook them to the next book. And she did a really good job with that. I did not see that coming, and I'm so excited to see where the next book is going to go whenever it does come out. So today, we are going to be awarding Taurus Season a total of 4 stars. I enjoyed this book way more than I thought I would. I really thought it was going to be, like, 3-star territory. It's like a lower 4 stars, but if it sounds like the kind of book that you're like interested in, or maybe you're a bit curious about and you know it's like kind of weird, you should read it. Because like, why not, right? Reading is fun, test the boundaries, and this is a pretty safe book. I didn't find it like super gory or anything, and the gore has always been my like insta no. But I mean, it's about 2 serial killers, so like, just keep that in mind when you go into it, because obviously there's gonna be a lot of murder involved. But there's also a lot of heart. There's a lot of heart in this book, especially with Arthur's character and Arthur and Harper's relationship and Nolan and how much he cares about his family. And like, they all have really good and valid reasons and interesting moral codes. And like, the town itself is this just like super close-knit town of like couple thousand people, and they all know each other, they all know each other's business. Like, it's a really fun setting, and the whole town is like, it's called Cape Carnage, and they really play in on the like the carnage. Like, there's like a build a body competition, there's like, yeah, there's a lot of really like, kind of weird kind of stuff, but it just really adds to the charm of this book and kind of where this story is taking place. And like, it doesn't take itself super seriously, but like at moments it does. Like, every single thing about Arthur is always very serious and very well respectively handled. And then there's other stuff that's just like kind of funny, like with the bird, the murder bird. So this one was definitely fun. Give it a read if it sounds interesting to you. And even if you're just a little bit curious, I think it's a really safe one to start with. Next up, it is finally time to start reading The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is like a cozy, kind of fun, gay romance that I'm really excited about with like found family aspects. So this is what I'll be reading next. A nice little break from the darker kind of stuff that I've been reading this spooky season. So if you're interested in watching me read The House in the Cerulean Sea, or any of the book that happens to be on my Never Ending TBR, or really anything related to the book world, like the book community, drama, news, anything like that, go ahead and subscribe, because I talk about all this stuff and more on my channel just because I'm obsessed with books and I love books. Everything about books, just books are the best than ever. So with that, I'm going to wish you warm wishes and fish kisses, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!